out there, here, here. How much ambient noise is that? Is that kind of weird to realize you didn't even tune into that? That's your trauma. That is an ambient trauma that's there all the time. It's there so much, and at a certain point, it breaks you. You don't realize this. You're broken. It breaks you. And what happens to some people when they're really dealing with a lot of trauma is they actually, it gets so bad, they have to partition it. They actually find a part of their brain they're unconscious to, they partition it over there, and they have amnesia towards it. They actually create pockets of amnesia. And if you try to talk to them about it, they can become very defensive. They get upset. You can't actually even talk to them because they're that traumatized. That's how bad it gets. You can study things like BPD or NPD and see where that could happen. Okay, so they create entire false selves. They can get so much trauma that their core self dies. The core self inside the person dies, and what happens is that they get like almost like I'm missing an ACL. I don't have an ACL in my left knee, and my muscles kind of build around it, and I get like a fake ACL basically. That it's like an adapted ACL. Sometimes we get so traumatized when we're younger that the self commits suicide. This is actually real. Wow. Yeah, this is not my woo-woo stuff. This is modern psychiatry and psychotherapy. So the core self dies, and then other matrices of self build around it, and that's where NPD can come from as well, because the core self died, and so what happened was that they create a grandiose self around it, and that self will take no negative feedback because it's like we have to protect that dead, entombed self, little baby that's stuck inside that we could never even get access to because it's so much in protection that it won't even let you have access to the self. You can learn, these are very extreme examples, borderline or NPD, very, very extreme, but you can learn a lot about the lighter version that we all have by studying this kind of stuff. We all have light level versions where, like those mechanics of the mind, that would just be the far end of a spectrum, but those mechanics can function, in all of us to varying degrees.